Today on the UOFanatic podcast, I will tell you about my perfect Universal Orlando resort day in the northern campus. But first, a little news, and I want to highlight some upcoming good hotel rates for April.
Hello? This is Jonah Jameson. Roger, over. Is this thing on?
My name is Angus, and I am a UOFanatic. Welcome to the show. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review on your platform of choice by searching UOFanatic. Also on YouTube. Follow along and continue the conversation at UOFanaticPod on Twitter as well. Great show this week, but before we dive in, we've got some news. First, StarDust Racers reopened, despite some internet doom trolls saying it would never open again. And next, we have quite a bit of HHN news and rumors. First up, let's get a tweet from HHN Wiki. The most bizarre rumor of the year has just popped up. According to Legacy, who hinted at a rumor that would cause a lot of backlash, and other people on the various HHN servers, Fortnitemares may be coming to HHN 35 as a scare zone. Fortnitemares is Fortnite's annual Halloween-themed event, transforming the Battle Royale game with a horror-focused spooky makeover every October. The event runs for several weeks and features special quests, limited time modes, themed weapons, haunted map locations, and crossovers with popular horror icons like Ghostface or Jason. I am not sure I put a lot of faith in this rumor personally, but at the same time, I've seen crazier things happen. And while I see a lot of negative responses on Twitter, I'd like to point out that some more of the wild ideas in the past turned out to be great after all. And the ones that don't quite land, well, still fun to walk through. Before there was a panel on MegaCon, a bunch of influencers received HHN commemorative tickets sent out by Universal Orlando's HHN team. The Orlando's HHN team, like I said, had a panel at MegaCon, and the commemorative tickets weren't actual tickets to the event, but a fun way for influencers and bloggers to engage in some of the HHN hype. The tickets resembled old circus tickets and had some lowercase letters hidden throughout, which scrambled up said icon. So the following day after the commemorative tickets were given out was the MegaCon panel, and it did not disappoint. We got an official tweet from Horror Nights, as well as information shared from the panel. The forces of horror are back. Jack the Clown and Dr. Oddfellow returned to wreak havoc together at this year's Halloween Horror Night. You ready? After the panel, we got even more information from a series of tweets from none other than Michael Aiello himself. Let me share those contents. From Mike. It all begins with Dr. Oddfellow, a powerful occultist who used a traveling circus as cover to harness dark supernatural forces tied to the Zodiac. Everything he built was rooted in control, from the performers he manipulated to the rituals he carried out behind the scenes. The carnival wasn't just entertainment, it was a machine designed to channel fear and sacrifice into power. Then there's Jack. Jack started as a killer who turned himself into a clown, using performance as a way to get close to his victims. When he joined Oddfellow's carnival, the two became part of the same system, but for very different reasons. Oddfellow saw the circus as a tool for precision and purpose, while Jack turned it into something unpredictable, using it as a stage for increasingly chaotic and theatrical violence. As Jack's behavior grew more dangerous and drew attention, Oddfellow decided to eliminate the problem. He killed Jack and sealed him inside a box, believing he had contained the chaos for good. But the box didn't just hold Jack, it transformed him. Clawing Oddfellow's face just before he was entombed, Jack became fueled by the dark energy surrounding the carnival and the power of the Cane of Souls. Jack returned as something no longer human. He broke free, killed Oddfellow, and took control of the circus, reshaping it into the Carnival of Carnage, a nightmare fueled by fear, spectacle, and blood. But Oddfellow did not stay dead. Because of the power he had been building, his essence was pulled into the realm of the Zodiac, where he finally took full control of the forces that had once influenced him. When he returned, he was transformed as well, no longer just a man, but something far more powerful, wielding what had become the Dark Zodiac. Now both of them exist, bound to the same power in the same world. Jack embodies chaos, turning everything into performance and destruction, while Oddfellow represents control, manipulating events and bending reality to his will. They are opposing forces, but they're also connected. Neither of them would exist in this form without the other. That dynamic is where our haunted house begins. Just step into the story at the moment it all started, inside the box and into the Oddverse, Dr. Oddfellow's domain. It's here they experience Jack's origin as it is being narrated by Oddfellow himself, watching his rise from human killer to something far more dangerous within the carnival. But Jack refuses to stay contained. Even within his own story, he interrupts the narration, takes control, and what begins as a retelling quickly becomes a confrontation. As guests move throughout the house, they are caught inside a battle between chaos and control as Jack and Oddfellow fight for dominance over the same space, the same story, and ultimately the same power. As the conflict builds, both come to a realization. Divided, their power is limited, but together, their ability to generate fear becomes something far greater. By the climax, they make a choice that is far more dangerous than continuing to fight. They unite, not in peace, but in purpose. Their alliance creates something entirely new, an infernal carnival, a living engine of horror powered by fear itself. Every nightmare within it exists to feed that system, drawing energy from every scream and every moment of terror. This isn't just a place that was built, it's something that was summoned, born from ritual, chaos, and control combined. And once you step inside, you're no longer just witnessing this story, you're part of what keeps it alive. Because this rivalry and the uneasy alliance that grows from it is where Halloween Horror Nights 2026 lives for our 35th anniversary. Two of the event's most iconic figures, Jack the Clown and Dr. Oddfellow, finally come together to unleash their infernal carnival of nightmares. Within this decrepit carnival, fear is on full display. Twisted attractions, familiar horrors reborn, and entirely new nightmares of unimaginable scale take over, each one feeding the engine they've created. This is where our legacy lives and evolves, but on everything that has come before, while pushing into something unique and dangerous. The Infernal Carnival of Nightmares. So much more to come. It's so exciting. The hype train is going off the tracks early. Hell yeah, Jack. I love Jack and have great memories of all the years he was represented. I also look forward to seeing some of the newer people getting their first look at our best icon. It should be a lot of fun. Last but not least, on the HHN front, they have started selling the single night tickets. They start at $87.99 and are as high as $130 depending on the night. Single Night Express also out. They're starting at $169. This year, they're going to have two premiere nights instead of just one, August 27th and October 19th. They start at $399. They say they're going to lower the total tickets sold, but I'm sticking with fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not going to bite this year. The Unmasking the Horror tours are available for purchase, 3 houses or 6 houses starting at $99.99. And the Scream Early ticket is available starting at $70, and that has a 2 p.m. entry, which I believe is an hour earlier than it was last year. All right, now that we get that news out, let's jump into the main topic. The perfect day at Universal Orlando Resort North Campus. Or at least my perfect day. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick my hotel, 2 meals, 3 attractions, 2 entertainment venues, 1 spectacular, and 1 cocktail, in which all totaled together would create what I think would be a perfect day at the North Campus of Universal Orlando. So let's start with the hotel. Since Express Pass isn't a consideration in my exercise here, I think it's an easy choice. Sapphire Falls is as nice a resort as any and usually at a heavily discounted rate compared to its other sibling resorts. It's beautiful, it's comfortable, and it has arguably the best pool on property. Caribbean-inspired design with stone turrets, waterfalls, and bright tropical colors feels very upscale without being overly themed or artificial. More like a real Caribbean resort than a caricature. Relaxed, calm vibe that still feels connected to the energy of Universal, but a nice retreat from the chaos. It also has excellent transportation options, complimentary water taxi to City Walk and the theme parks. The boat adds convenience and a bit of luxury while being taxied to your destination. Also includes beautiful walking paths via the Garden Walk, about 10 minutes to City Walk, shorter distances to Aventura, Royal Pacific, and Cabana Bay. Excellent location for all the things you would ever want to do on a vacation. It also has my favorite bar, Strongwater Tavern, a beloved rum bar with rare vintages and small plates. Don't worry, more about this later. I mentioned it has arguably the best pool. It's just my personal favorite, but it's a huge pool with a water slide, sandy beach areas, and a hot tub. It has a very unusual zero entry that crosses the pool across the middle. It's hard to explain, but amazing at first glance. Lush landscaping and waterfalls as your background, and plenty of seating, and a great pool bar. And don't sleep on those nachos. All right, so first I'm going to talk about my first of two meals. Lunch in the park makes sense, so I figured this would be what I did on my perfect theme park day. On episode 3, I dove deep on this one, and on episode 4, I validated how I feel about it in my trip report. I am not here to tell you you can't have a better meal somewhere else other than the Today Cafe, but I am here to tell you that it's the spot that makes sense. It makes sense in its value, it makes sense in its quality, it even makes sense for the ease and the process. But maybe more important, on a theme park day, it fuels you without making you feel full. You've got to remember when eating that stuffing your face until you feel like you can't take another bite would be a terrible idea early in your theme park day. I can even tell you what I'll have. I'll definitely be ordering the Carnegie platter and a high noon. The Carnegie is a classic New York style pastrami sandwich, hot piled high, melty and hearty. Easily one of the most satisfying quick service lunches in Universal Studios, Florida. Has a generous portion with bold deli flavors, hot pastrami stacked high, Swiss cheese melted over the meat with deli mustard for a classic NYC deli tang. It's served on toasted rye bread and comes with a side of potato salad. The vibe here is great for theme parks as well. It's bright and vibrant to keep you feeling wide awake and ready to take on the rest of your day. All right, let's go through my attractions. I profess my love for the amazing adventures of Spider-Man in episode 2, so it shouldn't be a surprise that I'm hitting up this attraction first. So far ahead of its time and still relevant today. The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man's groundbreaking 3D motion simulated dock ride in Marvel's Superhero Island at Universal's Islands of Adventure, combining moving vehicles, physical sets, and high-definition 3D visuals to put guests in the middle of a comic book battle across New York City. A motion-based 3D dock ride where guests board a scoop news vehicle from the Daily Bugle blends 3D protection, practical effects, and synchronized vehicle movement, a major technological leap when it opened in 1999, and it continues on thanks to updates in 2012 with 4K HD animation and new effects for sharper visuals and smoother action. It's that perfect blend of practical effects and projection that make a beloved character come to life, and it's always an absolute must-do no matter how many times I've ridden it. I can't even guess at this point, but it's well over 100 times. As a rookie reporter sent into the city just as the sinister syndicate, Dr. Octopus, Electro, Hydro-Man, Scream, and Hobgoblin steal the Statue of Liberty using an anti-gravity cannon. Spider-Man leaps onto your vehicle and guides you through a chaotic chase across skyscrapers, alleys, and explosions. It's considered one of the best dock rides ever built, winning the Golden Ticket Award for Best Dock Ride 12 years in a row. Thrilling, but yet family friendly, with lots of motion, humor, and comic book energy. Not to mention it's packed with the GOAT Stanley cameos. I give it an 11 out of 10. While I picked Spider-Man because of its perfect blend of practical or physical effects with projection, I would choose Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. That is a mouthful because of its perfect blend of story and roller coaster. Hagrid's is a high-speed story coaster that sends riders deep into the Forbidden Forest on a motorbike or sidecar, blending multiple launches, animatronics, and environmental storytelling into one of Universal's most immersive attractions. It's fast, fluid, and packed with surprises, making it a standout headliner in the wizarding world of Harry Potter Hogsmeade. The attraction is a multi-launch steel coaster with 7 launches, a vertical spike, and a backward section. Riders choose between Hagrid's motorbike, it's higher and more exposed, or the sidecar, lower and more secure. Single riders can safely assume the sidecar. The attraction is themed as a care of magical creatures lesson gone sideways. Guided by Hagrid himself, the journey begins with Hagrid and Arthur Weasley introducing your training motorbike. You speed into the Forbidden Forest, encountering creatures like Fluffy the three-headed dog, blast-ended Scroots, Cornish pixies, and of course, a unicorn and her foal. The attraction includes a dramatic vertical spike before launching backward, followed by a surprise drop track into the Devil's Snare. This is so groundbreaking at the time, and if you're wondering the spot where most of the attraction's downtime occurs, thankfully it's become much more reliable than when it opened. The attraction ends with Hagrid thanking you for helping with the lesson and reminding you not to tell anyone at Hogwarts. It's definitely considered Universal's most thematically rich coaster, blending thrills with detailed world building. I would argue most thematically rich coaster anywhere, but I'm not that well traveled, so keep that in mind. It is smooth, fast, and family friendly for a coaster of its intensity. It uses real sets, animatronics, and forest environments. My third attraction that I would definitely be on, well, my daughter and I have a quote that we share. Velocicoaster is life. The overwhelming feeling of joy after a Velocicoaster ride is intense. It's a feeling that stays with me for hours. Velocicoaster is a launch steel coaster in the Jurassic Park area of Islands of Adventure featuring 2 powerful launches, a 155 top hat, 4 inversions, and a max speed of 70 miles per hour. The Velocicoaster is a multi-launch Intamin coaster themed to the Jurassic World Raptor paddock. Features 2 launches, 0 to 50 in 2 seconds, 40 to 70 in 2.4 seconds, 140-foot drop with those 4 inversions. Uses only a lap bar, making the airtime and hang time feel even more intense. You're invited by Claire Deering to experience a new coaster inside the Raptor paddock. Owen Grady warns you that this is a terrible idea. Then the ride proves him right. You launch through rockwork, past raptors, and into a high-speed chase. The second launch fires you into that top hat before diving toward the lagoon. The iconic Mosasaurus roll, a hotline roll just inches above the water, is what we're all here for. It's that moment that defines this ride. As I have my hands high into the air and feel the lift up out of my seat, if this is my last moment on Earth, so be it. I'm joking, sort of, but it's how we describe the ride to people who've never been. Combines elite coaster engineering with cinematic theming, delivers relentless pacing. There's no slow sections, no breaks, just pure speed. Definitely worth mentioning, the queue has some fantastic features as well. The animatronic caged raptors is something everyone will take a picture of. It's mandatory. Go ahead and try not to. I bet you can't. You may have noticed all 3 of my favorite attractions are from Islands of Adventure. An interesting note, my favorite park of the 2 is still Studios. Go figure, right? Still feels like the more balanced park, and while the attractions aren't my absolute favorite, once combined with the entertainment, it becomes my favorite park. And speaking of entertainment venues, let's talk about my 2 choices for 2 entertainment venues that are, by the way, that are not attractions. First one, I'm definitely going with Blues Brothers. Normally, I'd tell you to hit up Finn's for a black and tan just before the show starts, but these days with Finn's closed, we can only do the next best thing and head over to the waterfront before Transformers, where they have the pop-up Irish bar. It's not the same, but it will have to do. The show at Delancey Street in New York area is beyond a doubt one of the first things I visualize when I hear Universal Studios. Sure, it's not sophisticated or a technological breakthrough, but it hits and it hits hard. Nothing like a talented singer musicians with some good old blues. I usually see this a couple of times per vacation, and I hope I never miss. The Blues Brothers show is a 15-minute street performance where Jake and Elwood roll up in the Bluesmobile, turn Delancey Street into a mini block party filled with classic soul, blues, rock, and roll. It's spontaneous, loud, funny, and incredibly interactive. One of the Universal's most charming pieces of live entertainment. The show features Jake and Elwood performing a medley of hits like Soul Man and Sweet Home Chicago, backed by Mabel, the waitress, and Jazz on the saxophone. The performers dance through the crowd, crack jokes, and recreate the movie's signature energy, all while guests gather right on the street, no stage, no seating, just a lively curbside concert. The show typically runs several times a day and is easy to catch as you wander through the park. Its intimate street party vibe makes it feel spontaneous and personal, and during the holidays, it even transforms into a festive version with seasonal songs. For my second entertainment choice, I had to go with the Universal Mega Movie Parade. It's a high energy daytime parade at Universal Studios Florida that brings some of the most iconic Universal films to life. Large scale floats, dancers, still performers, and cinematic music. It's designed to feel like the movies are leaping off the screen and onto the streets, creating a non-stop celebration of Universal's film legacy. Each section blends characters, music, performance, and kinetic effects to recreate famous movie moments right in the park. The parade includes major Universal franchises such as Back to the Future, led by Doc Brown and Marty McFly, riding in and around gleaming DeLorean that looks mid-time jump, complete with glowing coils, pulsing lights, and cracking flux effects. Ghostbusters, led by the iconic Ecto-1 with its sirens whooping, lights flashing, and proton packs humming. The float is styled like a rolling containment zone with neon green ecto energy pulsating through pipes, ghost silhouettes flickering across the panels, and a billowing fog that spills into the street. The ET segment glides into the parade with a warm, nostalgic glow built around a forest-themed float that feels like a slice of the movie's moonlit finale. The centerpiece is ET himself, perched in the basket of Elliot's bike, gently illuminated as if by the moon. The bike is suspended above the float in a way that suggests flight, with soft lighting and mist effects, creating the iconic across the sky moment. My favorite part, the Jaws segment, slices into the parade with a burst of seaside tension built around a weathered Amity Island fishing dock that looks like it's barely holding together. Wooden planks creak, barrels sway, and nautical gear rattles as the float rolls forward, all setting the stage for the star of the show, Bruce the Shark, rising from the water in a dramatic lunging pose. For illumination, you get the minions leading the charge with a float that looks like a rolling lab party with bright yellows, oversized gadgets, and playful chaos everywhere. Minions pop out from the window hatches and periscopes. Bubbles, confetti, and silly sound effects fill the air. The float transitions smoothly into the world of Sing, styled like a miniature concert stage with neon lights, star-shaped panels, and a big showbiz vibe. Characters like Rosita, Gunter, and Johnny appear on the float. The Trolls float is a rolling burst of glitter, neon, and pop music joy, stylized like a mobile dance party straight out of a troll village. Poppy and Branch appear on a vibrant, flower-covered platform. The energy pivots into the martial arts comedy as Poe and the world of Kung Fu Panda take over. The float resembles a stylized jade palace training ground. Lanterns, bamboo, and a red and gold accents set the scene. Poe appears in a heroic pose, mixing kung fu flair with his signature goofiness. The Jurassic segment thunders into the parade with a surge of jungle drums and a towering float designed like a mobile paddock, complete with cracked fencing, warning lights, and dense prehistoric foliage. At the center is a full-scale Velociraptor enclosure with Blue in her pack, lunging, snarling, and reacting as if they're moments from escaping. Their heads snap, their eyes track the crowd, and their movements give the float a thrilling sense of danger. The finale of the parade and the segment is a massive T-Rex, a perfect end to a perfect parade. So now you're noticing all my While all my favorite attractions are in Islands of Adventure, all of my favorite shows are in studios. And that's where I'm going to choose my spectacular from. CineSational, a symphonic spectacular, is Universal Studio Florida's newest nighttime lagoon show. It's a 20-minute plus celebration of iconic film music brought to life with massive fountains, 4K projection mapping, and more than 600 synchronized drones. It transforms the entire lagoon into a living movie score, honoring the films that shaped Universal's past, present, and future attractions. CineSational highlights a huge lineup of Universal's connected films, including Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts, Jurassic World, Jaws, Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, E.T., Shrek, Trolls, How to Train Your Dragon, Universal Monsters, Transformers, Minions, The Mummy, King Kong, and even the Super Mario Brothers. Each segment blends fountains, projections, and drones to recreate iconic moments from all of these properties. Because of the time of the year I travel, I don't often get to see this show. Mardi Gras and HHN seasons, as an example, don't have the show running. So that's why I would definitely pick this. And now I'm going to go for my second meal. After a wonderful lagoon show, I can think nothing better than taking a short walk to a wonderful meal. My lunch was full of value and light fare. Now I'm all in for being indulgent. You would find me walking to the Hard Rock Hotel and then entering the Palm and pulling up a chair at the bar. The bar is more casual and not likely to have a wait and has the benefit of the full menu of the restaurant. The Palm is an upscale New York-born steakhouse known for prime-aged steaks, massive Nova Scotia lobsters, and classic Italian-American dishes, all served in a refined, caricature-lined dining room. It's one of Universal Orlando's premier fine dining options, offering a polished but welcoming atmosphere ideal for celebrations, business dinners, or a splurge-worthy night out. It's going to cost you a pretty penny, but I promise you it'll be worth it. In addition to their steaks and their cold water lobsters, they usually have a giant veal chop on the menu, and here's a hot tip. Ask them if they can take that veal chop and make it Parmesan and thank me later. Great bartenders and service, and I would definitely have a cocktail or two here with dinner, but I'm saving my one cocktail for my final stop. And that final stop would be my home base of Sapphire Falls. I would take the boat back to City Walk and transfer to the Sapphire boat because I might be a little tipsy, but I'm definitely full and tired. I would head right to my favorite bar on property, Strong Water Tavern, and order my favorite drink, a strong water Mai Tai. It's made with Hamilton Reserve and Eldorado 5-year, orgeat, and lime. Strong Water Tavern is a rum-forward tapas-style bar known for its massive wall of vintage rums, personalized rum tastings, ceviche bar, and relaxed island nautical atmosphere. It's one of Universal Orlando's most stylish and distinctive hotel lounges, blending old-world charm with Caribbean-inspired flavors. It has cozy lounge seating, an indoor bar, and an outdoor patio with fire pit and lagoon views. Stunning, relaxing, and strong drinks. A perfect ending to a full theme park day. All right, before we wrap up the show this week, I looked ahead for April and found some amazing deals, and I want to fill you in on them, see if you can either I can save you some money or tempt you in any way for maybe an unexpected trip. So the first thing I did was on Friday, April 10th to Sunday, April 12th. I see Universal Endless Summer Resort Dockside for $122. I see Surfside for $110. That is amazing. But also, and this is the weekend, remember, so these aren't the lowest prices you can possibly get, but that's how good they are. Universal Cabana Bay for $141 and Portofino Bay for $427 with Express. It's pretty good for a weekend. But wait, there's more. Tuesday, April 14th for 2 night stay. Terra Luna 116, Dockside 102, Surfside $95. And Surfside is definitely my favorite of the two for the docksides. But check this out. Helios Grand 284, Portofino Bay 353. And if that wasn't insane enough, Royal Pacific Resort, also an express resort, $317 a night. Now listen up. That one night is 2 days of express, $317. You should be booking right now. In the Hard Rock Hotel, this is a steal for the Hard Rock Hotel, $390. You very rarely see Hard Rock under $400, and you quite commonly see Hard Rock now for $800 to $900 a night. So then I found April 28th to stay a couple nights. That's a Tuesday. I found every single hotel had a good price on this day. So let's just quickly run down that list. Terra Luna, $123. Dockside, $97. Surfside, $102. Cabana Bay, $111. Stella Nova, $143. Aventura, $161. Sapphire Falls, actually the outlier here. Don't go to that. This is the one hotel that doesn't have the great price at that time. Helios, $284. Portofino Bay, $366. Royal Pacific, $398. And Hard Rock Hotel, $426. Still, $426 is very good for the Hard Rock Hotel. Sure, the previous week was even better, but this is a really good price if you love the Hard Rock. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure, that timely information's out there. These are some really good deals. And, well, I guess it's time to wrap it up. That is going to do it for this episode of the UOFanatic podcast. So let me ask you, what would make up your perfect theme park day? I'd love to know. Please comment on Twitter to UOFanaticPod or leave a comment to UOFanatic on YouTube. While we are on the topic, please like and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. I'd also really appreciate it to spread the word about the show or share an episode on social media. I really would appreciate your support. Speaking of support, if you'd like to support the show, please consider allowing me to assist you and book your Universal vacations. I am an authorized Universal Orlando Resort specialist with decades of experience at touring the Universal Orlando Resort. Remember, my service costs you nothing. Absolutely free. I am paid for by Universal Destinations. And I can book you any of those resort rates that I just mentioned. Find out more at UOFanatic.com, where you can fill out a short form on the right sidebar to let me know how to get in touch with you about your Universal Orlando vacation. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Guess that wraps things up. You guys did all right. But don't give up your day job. Say cheese. See you later.
Congratulations, you're heroes. I knew it all the time.